Hey, what's up everybody? It's Lids, and we're back for some more Gwent, and today we're playing more of the Banished seasonal event, which is an alternate game mode in which after both players have picked their starting hands, their entire decks get banished. That means that many cards with abilities that are based on either your deck or your opponent's deck may be completely useless. And with that in mind, today we are going to try what I think may be the worst deck ever made. No, this is not an exaggeration. This is not some setup for me to come back with some miraculous win. I quite literally think it is impossible to win with this deck, no matter what the circumstances are. So how bad is it? Well, let's go give it a look. So although Nilfgaard has the meta deck for this event, it also may have the worst. So we'll be playing a Nilfgaard lockdown deck for this event, which if our opponent has not yet used their leader ability is worth 0 points, at least on our side of the board. And that's the thing, is in most cases, the cards that we are going to have will be worth 0 points. In some cases will even be worth negative points. And on a few rare occasions, we may be able to get 1 or possibly even 2 points out of our cards. So how do we do that? It is all based on playing tutors when our entire deck is banished, so they do nothing, and playing disloyal cards that are supposed to play a card from our deck, but we don't have a deck, so that means we're just putting units on our opponent's side of the board and giving them points without getting anything in return. And we're also using all of our provisions because I decided it'd be cheating not to. So I'll flip through here to show you what we have, and Joachim is a great example because it gives 4 points to our opponent and there is no card to boost from our deck. So it is quite literally a negative 4-point play, which is the best or worst card in the deck, depending on what perspective you have on all this. Geralt is worth 2 because there's no cards for him to tutor. Royal Decree worth 0. Kolgrim worth 1 because neither player has any cards in their deck. Blizzard is likely worth negative points because since our deck is so atrociously awful, there's a pretty good chance we would have to destroy our own unit in the process. Alzur's Double Cross worth 0. Marching Orders, worth 0. War Council, worth 0. Menno, worth 2. Snowdrop, worth 2. Dead Man's Tongue, 0. Cantarella, negative 1. Count Caldwell theoretically could be the strongest card in this deck. There is the slimmest of chances that we actually get 10 points out of him, if for some reason our opponent doesn't play any cards at all. But because our highest unit, other than Caldwell, would at most be 2, there is almost a guarantee that he is going to our opponent's side of the board, making him a negative 10-point play. Villem is another negative 2. Roderick, another negative 2. Viper Witcher Mentor is actually a 0, because it will try to set its power based on the cards in our opponent's deck, and because there are no cards in our opponent's deck, that gives him a 0, and so he dies. Viper Witcher Alchemist is a 2. Spring Equinox, 0. Teleportation, probably a 0. Actually, maybe a negative point play if we have doomed units. Megascope can be worth 2 or potentially even 3 if we get our leader ability to go off when our opponent has already used their leader ability, spawning in a 3-point operative. So there's a look at the deck, and I think it is quite literally the worst deck, at least when you consider that we are using this deck in the Banished seasonal event, because I believe the theoretical maximum number of points that you could ever score with this deck in the most ideal situation is about 28, and that's across all 3 rounds. And that requires a whole bunch of things to work in your favor, including Count Caldwell staying on your side of the board when your highest units are either a 2 or a 3, and if you don't manage that, then of course he becomes a negative 10. And that is just the start of all the negative plays that you might make. So with all that being said, this is definitely not the deck to play if you are trying to win matches in the Banished seasonal event, but if you are up for the most extreme of challenges, and you want to see what it's like to play with this atrociously awful deck, then here you go, and if you somehow find a way to get a win with it, then let me know how it happened, because unless your opponent disconnects or for some reason forfeits, I just don't see how it's possible. But with all that being said, let's go see it in action. Alright, so going up against Scoia'tael here. And they'll go first. Okay, and so for this one, I'm going to try to play as well as possible with this deck. That means that if the only plays we have give us negative points, then I will not do them. I'll discard cards if we have to. So with that in mind, let's get rid of Villem, because he's a negative 2. We get a 0 in return. I mean, that's, yes, a little bit better. Let's see, the tricky thing is Caldwell. He's potentially a 10, but probably a negative 10, so let's dump him. Except that does mean now that we have precisely 2 units that can score points. So that's a great sign. Alright, they'll start with the Joachim Defender. And see, the thing is, we would need to play every single unit that we have, and then, well, I suppose we can use Megascope as well, and then we theoretically could eventually pass this Mahakam Defender, but they would need to only play this Mahakam Defender. So if we are trying to win a round, then I think we kind of have no choice but to just dry pass here, and see if after they played one more card than us in round 1, maybe they dry pass in round 2 and give us a free round 2 win. So they will pass. So that, of course, means they'll win round 1. Okay, and they do dry pass in round 2. That is amazing. That means we can, in fact, win a round with this deck. Oh, man. Never thought we'd see the day. Let's use Geralt Quen, because if we can save Viper Witcher Alchemist, then we can use Megascope on that in round 3 and get slightly more points, so Quen is not quite as good. That'll be our throwaway. And there you have it. We won a round. Mission accomplished. The deck is officially viable. Okay, and, well, now we go first. So, in the interest of not playing a Viper Witcher Alchemist and having our one unit capable of scoring points immediately get destroyed, what if we just start it slow here and think about what we want to do with War Council? Alright, they'll go with Dobleton the Sentry. Makes sense, expecting some movement, what with them being guerrilla tactics. Problem is, they start playing things like Cat Witchers or Gezros, then of course they can deal damage and potentially remove our only cards capable of scoring points, and that would be a problem. So let's just go with Viper Witcher Mentor here, which is a 0-point play because it tries to set its power to the top unit in their deck, and they don't have a deck, so that card is worth 0, and that destroys the Viper Witcher Mentor. Right, and there is the Cat Witcher, as expected. So that'll get boosted and it'll deal damage, so we kind of want to try to dodge that, so we at least have enough time to use Megascope on the Viper Witcher Alchemist. But if we play this combo early enough, then Cat Witcher will eventually hop around enough and get rid of that Viper Witcher Alchemist. So in the interest of at least putting up some points, let's play this as late as possible. So let's go with marching orders here. And they are probably very, very confused right now. Alright, they'll go Dryad Matron. And yes, that means that I'm pretty sure they've now scored more points than we are theoretically capable of scoring, even in the ideal scenario. So, I think we've lost, but we'll keep on trying here. I think that means our goal is to at least finish the match with some points on the board. And they'll play Stygia Castle. Get a Cat Witcher Mentor. Okay, I'd rather they play that than a Cat Witcher, because the more damage they have, the more difficult it is for us to actually finish with units on the board. So now let's use Dead Man's Tongue, and of course that is worth 0 points. Now it's, yeah, another Cat Witcher, unfortunately. And those guys are going to start dealing 2 damage every turn pretty soon. So now let's go Teleportation, but since we don't have any units, we can't play it, so we'll just discard it. Okay, they'll go with Eek. Well, I don't think he's going to have anything to destroy. Something tells me that isn't going to work. Alright, so now we do need to play the Viper Witcher Alchemist, and that means we just want to play it in a row where it's not going to get hit by either of the Cat Witchers. That means we played in the range row here. Of course, they could use their leader ability to immediately destroy it, so we are really hoping that they don't do that. But if they do, and they use all of their leader ability charges, then we can use our leader ability to get a few more units out there. There's Gezros. So, of course, that's a whole lot more points for them, but hold on. They don't destroy our Viper Witcher Alchemist. That means we can actually use Megascope on it. I never thought I'd see the day. Okay, they'll go with Milena. And of course, this Viper Witcher Alchemist is, yes, going to die from those Cat Witchers. We just needed to get it down there and have it survive for a turn so that we could get the Megascope down. So now we just casually spring Equinox here, and you know what? Sure, we'll hit them with it. Then we'll use our leader ability, which, I mean, we really wanted them to use their leader ability charges so that we could actually get some units out of that, but we don't. We just prevent them from using guerrilla tactics instead. We do get our Viper Witcher Alchemist spawned in here, and fortunately, they cannot use their leader ability to destroy it that way, but if they are creative, they can use Milena to move the Viper Witcher Alchemist into the melee row and then have any of these Cat Witchers take it out. No, Igni will not work, as it turns out. Don't use oh wait, no, they used Malena on... What? No! They did! We didn't score any points in round 3, but you know what? We won round 2, and that is saying something with the worst deck ever. Alright, so we'll be going against Syndicate here, and they'll go first. Okay, so for this one, I'm deliberately going to be as helpful as possible to our opponent, giving them points whenever we can. So that means cards like Joachim that are -4, yeah, we'll go for that. Cards like Villem that are -2, sounds great. Let's get rid of Menno. I mean, what is this? 2 points? It's crazy talk. 0 is better. 1 point? No good. -1. Okay, now we're talking. So I believe with this hand, we might quite literally be incapable of scoring points. The only way we could ever do it would be if they use all their leader ability charges and then we get some units in with lockdown. I think that is the only way that that can ever happen. So, let's see. When do we want to help them? Do we want to help them now? Do we want to help them later? Let's just maybe throw in a Cantarella here. That might be all they need. Okay, they'll go with Mutated Hounds. They do need to poison a unit, so they'll poison themselves. Well, actually, that was planned with the Wretched Addict. Okay, I mean, they've got a pretty solid lead here. So you know what? I think you're good, man. I think we can both pass now. Okay, so they did play one more card than us in round 2, so I am interested to see if they try pass. They do not. Okay, they go with Greater Brothers here. It is a big 10-point unit. Oh no, don't use all your leader ability charges. Then we gotta use our leader ability and we actually get points, and that's not cool, man. That's not cool. Alright, but with that Greater Brothers, we can't win even if we wanted to. So I think that means, yeah, you know, we'll just continue to help them here. So let's, you know, let's just give them a little bit of a surprise with a Viper Witcher Mentor. They'll never see it coming. Alright, they're gonna continue playing here. Redea, I mean, again, is single-handedly worth enough points to win. Not to mention that stratagem is also, at least if they had a 1 power unit to use it on, also enough points for them to win. So, I mean, they don't really need our help here. Okay, Fizztech. They'll poison themselves and get some coins in the process. They will use that stratagem. They may be thinking they're going to pass on their next turn, and, you know, that's it's not the worst idea. We have not put up any points at all yet. Okay, we're going to Brocade, however you say that, dragon. Well, it doesn't exactly have any units to damage, but hey, they put up some more points, so, you know, good job, good job. Let's go with War Council here. They do pass. Well, that's no fun. Okay, well, I mean, it's gonna end in round 2 here, so I think we gotta continue to give them points, right? Let's throw in Prince Villem, first and foremost. Then, let's see, they do still have a leader ability charge, so we can use our leader ability here to lock them down. So let's do that. And then, let's throw in Joachim, give them a few more points. And then, unfortunately, I think this is the best we can do for them here. So, I mean, sure, we'll still go Royal Decree. And we'll still go Spring Equinox. Yeah, you know, let's get rid of their poison. I think they prefer not to be poisoned. Probably, maybe, sorta. Then, lastly, Dead Man's Tongue. And there we go. We gave them a few extra points, and so they won comfortably. Well done. Alright, so going against Nilfgaard here. And, who knows, apparently they're the ones going first. Ooh, and we have a half-decent hand here. We can actually score a couple of points with Snowdrop, a couple of points with the Viper Witcher Alchemist, and we can even use the Megascope to create another Viper Witcher Alchemist. Kolgrim's worth a point as well. I don't know, I think we might be playing for the win here. Let's see, what if we get rid of Alzur's Double Cross? Roderick, oh, that's -2 points, no thank you. Okay, so I think our goal is to take a round from our opponent, and it has already become impossible. So they win the entire match. I don't believe we can win even if they immediately passed and we played every single card in round 1, or dry passed here and played every card in round 2 against the carryover from Cyrano, which still wouldn't be enough. But, we'll try. We'll try. They will pass. And, see, that's the thing, is, we can't do anything. Oh, actually, hold on, we spring Equinox. Hold on, we spring Equinox. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. No resilience for you. Alright, so now the question is, with one card advantage, do they play here? They do. And even that 4-power ducal card may be more than we can handle. But obviously, after losing round 1, we need to play for the win here. So let's go with our Viper Witcher Alchemist. We very much need that card to survive at least one turn, because then we can use Megascope on it. Okay, Imperial Diplomacy, well, see, the thing is they're probably going to score some points here, and or destroy that one unit that I was just saying absolutely needed to survive. So yeah, any remote hope of us winning this match is now completely gone. So at this point, we'll just, play our 0-point cards. Okay, and, not loving that they're continuing to play here. I think the best possible solution would be if they used their leader ability and got one of our 0-point cards. Then that means we could use our leader ability and actually get a few units out of it, and even use Megascope on those operatives that get spawned in. So I don't think that's going to happen, or at least if it does happen at this point, then they've already played enough units that we're still not going to be able to pass them. So yeah, well, I guess we go marching orders. Then Sheilard Fitzofferlin. Oh man, you reduced our point total by 33.3, repeating of course, %. How dare you? So, I guess we play Snowdrop. And they're like, wait, what? That was your strongest unit? This is the one that got reduced to 1? Yeah, see, this is the problem. We really wanted them to use their leader ability, because now, I mean, we can use ours, but it's not going to give us any operatives. So that means no additional points for us. We have Kolgrim. And that's as good as it's going to get, I'm afraid. Oh, hold on. Hold on. We can reset Snowdrop's power. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. Then we can, well, not actually create a copy of every one, because these are all gold units. And then, just, give them a nice breath of fresh air. So there's a look at what I think might be the worst deck ever created. If you liked the video, then make sure to like and subscribe button, and let me know which other cards, archetypes, and factions you'd like us to experiment with next. And let me know if you have seen any decks worse than this, because right now that seems unimaginable. Thank you all for watching, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you next time.